Hey guys, welcome along to Here's Rodder's Reviews. We're getting into the X-Men Season 1 reviews with the Unstoppable Juggernaut. This episode, a lot of good, funny one-liners in this. At the end of the last episode, the X-Men returned from Genosha and found that the mansion had been destroyed. Of course, they're worried about Professor X as he alive, dead, injured, whatever it may be, so they go looking through the rubble to see if they can find any trace of him. They do eventually find within the mansion and the lower levels a recording from Professor X saying that he had left the mansion on a trip, but he couldn't give them any more information, so they know he's safe. But now, what was the cause of the destruction of the mansion? So off they go to try and work things out. Of course, Wolverine goes off on his own, as per usual, after getting the scent of somebody that was there that caused all the damage. So off he goes against Cyclops' better judgment. So Cyclops sends Storm, Rogue and Jubilee after him to see if they can track down anything as well. So when they get to the city, they discover that there's this big guy, first appearance of Colossus in this episode as well, and he's a mutant that can basically like turn into metal, and he's huge, unstoppable. He's like similar to Juggernaut. So there's a lot of elements in this episode where he is presumed to be the person that destroyed the mansion because of what he can do. Whenever they discover him, first off, he's with this group of construction workers that are demolishing buildings. He is attacked by the other workers because they feel that he's stolen their money because he just walks and demolishes this building. So of course, when Jubilee and Wolverine see this, of course, obviously this guy can easily destroy a building. This is obviously the guy that destroyed the mansion. So Jubilee is all on for going after him for this. Wolverine at the start too is, but then he discovers through the scent as well that this isn't the guy. And so they've got a bit of a quick confrontation in the episode where they quickly lose to him, but he's a big softy, really. He's one of these characters that just, why are you attacking me, sort of thing. You Americans are all crazy. He's this Russian guy. Hilarious in the way that he just talks to people in the episode. And I don't understand why you're treating me like a villain. I'm just here trying to make my way in life, sort of a thing. Anyway, Wolverine gets I was going to say Rogue, but Jubilee away from him. That's not him. We're going to have to search for somebody else. At this point, they get called by Storm and Rogue to come over to a bank. When they get there, that's been robbed by someone. Again, Colossus is getting pulled out of the bank by police at this stage. He's been arrested for robbing the bank, but he's claiming, I was only there to try to open a bank account, but the robbery began. He was trying to stop the guy that was doing it at this point. Of course, we get our first look at Juggernaut coming out with two big bags of cash over his shoulders, and he's attacked by the police. Guns, and there's a tank there as well. And as I say, one-liners in this episode. At one point, he's having a fight with Colossus, and he throws a tank at him, and he goes, "Thank you." So funny wee bits they get throughout this episode. Of course, he's pretty much unstoppable, the Unstoppable Juggernaut. Wolverine tries to fight him, gets defeated quite easily. Jubilee doesn't have a chance against him. They do manage to get the money off him as he's walking away. Wolverine cuts the bags open at the bottom, all the money falls out, and Jubilee takes the money back to the bank and tells them, the rest's in the alleyway, but I can't explain now. At this stage, the rest of the X-Men show up, and they try to coordinate their attack to take down Juggernaut. Jean Grey tries to use her mental abilities to get through to him, but they discover that his helmet is blocking her powers. And this is where, like I said in the prior episode and the reviews here, like if you're used to the movies of the X-Men, Magneto's helmet in the movies blocked Professor X's abilities to get to him, but that wasn't the case in the opening episodes of the cartoon here. But that element seems to work on, with the helmet that Juggernaut wears. They do coordinate their attack to try and get the helmet off him. They do succeed for a moment. And Rogue jumps on him at this point and tries to use her powers to subdue him. Of course, Rogue can touch someone, weaken them, take their powers and whatnot. And at one point she loses all control because of his powers and their origins. He does say throughout the episode that he's not a mutant, but his powers are like magical. And whenever she's taking his powers, she starts going over this stuff about being a half-brother, and the parents preferred the half-brother to him and whatnot. So it's like the child that was left out by the parents sort of thing that's psychologically scarred Juggernaut. And at other points in the episode he said he destroyed the mansion because he was trying to get hold of Professor X, and Nocte wasn't there, so destroyed the place essentially. At the end of the episode, basically how they defeat him is Jean Grey shows up, and it looks like the Cerebro helmet that she's wearing, and she puts a suggestion into his head that'll make him forget who he is and what he was doing, and he just kind of wanders off at the end of the episode. So the only other thing that happened in here was a jailbreak. Whenever Colossus was arrested, they went to get hold of him. Storm and Rogue broke him out, and there they met Beast, still sitting there waiting for his day in court. Of course, we've seen earlier in the series. So he refuses to be broken out along with him, but he tells Colossus to go with them. My friends will prove your innocence. So yeah, that happened. But the thing that jumped out to me in the episode here was it wasn't just really so clear within the episode itself. Whenever Rogue had the powers of Juggernaut, and she was going over the stuff about the brother and whatnot, and a bit of a connection towards Professor X. They may go into more detail later on, but I just decided to have a little look here on the internet here to see if I could work it out. Juggernaut, also known as Kane Marco, is Professor Charles Xavier's half-brother. So that was alluded to in the episode, but nothing concrete. So I take a little look in here just to see if there was a connection there, if it's not one that, like, I remember the series whenever I was growing up, whenever I was a kid. Like, this series originally came out whenever I was in high school, so I do remember watching it first time around, particularly season 1, but that's about it as far as season 1 of the X-Men was the one that I was big into back in the day, but I've got no memory whatsoever of a connection between Professor X and Juggernaut. But apparently, whatever I could find here online just very quickly before I recorded this video, apparently in the continuity, Xavier and Juggernaut are apparently half-brothers. So that's news to me and the rewatch of this series, so I'm loving it so far. Big kid at heart, that is what it is. So yeah, swift little review of this episode. Very, very good. I enjoyed this one. A lot of good one-liners in it. And definitely not an episode you want to jump over. The X-Men series is, you know, you do need to watch them all. And whenever you've got an overrunning storyline throughout a season, you know, you tend to have the odd little episode here and there that doesn't feel like it's going to be a part of the bigger storyline. But just as you've seen here in this episode, you get a little bit of information where Xavier and Juggernaut are apparently related. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to giving this a good rewatch, this series, and checking everything out and just getting all the info this time around. As I say, love the show. Most of these shows that I'll be reviewing here in the channel is nostalgic for me, to say the very least, but I wouldn't say I was the huge die-hard, know every little detail of everything that I've ever watched. So whenever I'm going through these reviews, it's as much of an education for me as hopefully it is for you watching it. So that's going to do it for this episode. Stay safe. I'll talk to you in the next one.